Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be kicking off 2018, the brand new year, by giving you guys a quick flip through of my art journal from high school. So this, I started it July of 2015 and I finished as in air quotations because it's not actually finished, but I finished it May of 2017. So this took me almost 2 years to do. It was part of my IB art class, and I really enjoyed this class. I thought it was really interesting, and I learned a lot. And it's kind of what fueled my desire to, be an artist, past just taking a couple of art classes in school and then just moving on with it. But yeah, let's get straight into the video, or the flip through. Oop, that's a spare piece of paper. So right here I have some hands, basically. Well, I suppose I should mention that when I first started this journal, I only wrote on the right hand side of the page. So for the longest time, these pages were blank. There was nothing here. But I went back and I started adding stuff. But basically, I first started just drawing some hands. I'm actually pretty proud of these. I think it would be interesting to go back and, redraw some of these to see how much I've improved on my hands. Because I'm pretty proud of these, and I'd like to see how much I've improved. That was when I did in color. And then this is from an art gallery that we went to. And then just some studies. And then a lot of IB art had to do with, like, how do I explain this? It's like analyzing like different artists and art movements and art styles. So I did expressionism for this page. You can see there's nothing on this one. That was just a fill-in page. This is surrealism. And then this is something I did rather frequently when I got lazy and I didn't feel like filling in a page. I would just write negative space in a fancy font, and I actually think that's kind of funny. But this is the page, or I suppose the spread, that led me to do music as my theme for all of my art pieces. I basically just did a timeline of or a mind map of all the songs that I listened to throughout the day. And then I found like an article on how music influences your brain, and I just made comments on those. And then reflections. I did a lot of reflections. And this is an analysis I did for political statements. And then this was like a, how do I say this? A rough draft for a political statement piece. I'm actually pretty proud of the anatomy that I did for this. It's actually not terrible. And then this is point of view. And then this is the piece that the rough draft for the point of view. And then a quick little mind map for some 3D pieces I could do. Point of view, reflection. And then this is the design for a 3D print that I had. So I really like this design. I think it's really, really cool, and I think it would be really interesting to make like a print of this today and see how it works, because I think it's just such a cool design. And then these were some less successful pages where I was just putting stuff down for the sake of getting stuff on a page. Now this is the part of my journal where I basically started taking newspaper clippings or like pictures that I found in the New York Times, and I basically like just called it New York Times inspired ideas. And so I have, this would have been the inspiration for a 3D piece. I would have taken wires and tried to make like do something similar and like make them look like people, but then they're like musical notes making music. And then this would have been something like a political statement. This is something that I end up making a, oh gosh, what was it? Like a photo print out of. So I might show all of my finished pieces in a later video, but this is a reflection photogram, that's what it's called. So hold on, let me get the, so this is kind of, I ended up making like a collage using like the pieces from this, and then like a face I found on Google. This is just a failed color mixing page. And then this is an artist analysis that I did, oops, tripping over stuff, on Jeff Soto. Jeff Soto is like a really interesting artist, and I absolutely love him. He has such a unique style. And he just has such cool pieces, and you can tell that I analyzed the absolute crap out of these pictures and tried to take as much inspiration from him as I possibly could, because he's just such an amazing artist. So this is the rough draft for the wire project that I would have done. I liked the idea and I thought it would have been really interesting to do, but in the end I think it was just going to be too difficult for me to do. And then this is like a mind map of the planning I would have done. These are some failed pages. I wanted to do like analyze scales and like take inspiration from like actual music for my pieces, but it didn't end up going very well. I was being lazy with the setup of my pages. I don't really know how to describe it, but basically, you know, I had a lot of good information and research going into my pages, but not a lot of like, you know, artistic thought about how the pages would be set up. And so that's when I kind of got the idea to change things up a bit, and I'm actually really happy that I did, because they ended up, these next few pages ended up being really, really amazing. So this was the beginning of the spread that I did for our trip to the Phoenix Art Museum, and it is also the spread where I started taking a lot more of a creative approach to my pages. As you can see, I'm trying to lay them out in a lot more of an interesting way than I did for some of my previous spreads. And so I'm really, really proud of a lot of these spreads. I think that they're really interesting and cool, and I tried to do different things on the pages. So for example, on this page, I just kind of did some basic comments on the stuff that I saw, whereas on this page, I went and I did a little list of things I like about this piece, and then I did, just pointed some different things out, and stuff like that. The same for this one. I started doing more watercolor washes and being more, you know, adventurous with those washes. And overall, I think these pages just came out really, really nicely, and I'm really proud of them. And my teacher was very proud of them too. She was so incredibly happy with these pages. So I'm really glad that I took the risk and started playing around with my pieces, not my pieces, my pages more. And then this is a reflection for one of the finished pieces that I did. One of these days I'll have to film a video where I go through and I show you guys all of my finished pieces that I turned in. But I never finished this page. I was gonna go back and do like a final reflection for it, but overall for this set of pages that I did, I got full points on those, so that's great. And then just a little concept mind map. More negative space. Kind of a failed rough draft for a piece I wanted to do. And then this is, these couple of pages were done over the summer. So I did like kind of a series of pages called Rock Around the World. So I have punk rock, which is in England. I have raga rock, which was in, you know, Southern Asia and India. Then I have grunge, which was in Seattle in the US, indie rock, US and UK, and then rock and roll. And then we have Elvis right here. This is another artist that I did a study of. His name is David Cho, and he's really interesting because like he does a lot of, I guess you could call it abstract. Well, not abstract, but just, I really don't know how to describe it, but his pieces are all really interesting, and they have certain, you know, aspects of realism to them, but then they kind of fade out into just scribbles, which is really interesting. So these are some more of his pieces, which are really cool. Failed drawing. What else is new? Tony Kurinaj, he's another really interesting artist, and he focuses a lot on hyper-realism. So these are all paintings that he did, and they're just so incredibly cool, and you know, like they look like they could be photos, but they have just like that element of texture to them that makes you, you know, kind of go back and wonder like, oh, I think these may be paintings, you know, but like they look like they could be photographs, and they're just so beautiful. So this was a spread, another spread where I took inspiration from a newspaper my dad showed me. I kind of saw like, so these are paintings as well that were done by this artist Steve Wolf, and I thought it was really interesting that he just kind of painted these like almost mundane items, you know, like books and records, and so I wanted to do a piece like that, and so I did this where I basically divided the page into 4 sections, and then just did like an evolution of like music media. So like I have a record, and then a mixtape, and then an 8-track, and then an iPod, and I just kind of worked with it until I got the look I wanted to. I'm definitely gonna have to do a video where I show you guys my finished pieces, because I'm not doing a very good job of explaining what I did without having the final piece out in front of me. So but that will be a video for another day. For right now, let's just get through this. So this is Bridget Riley. She kind of focuses on illusion art, and she's very interesting just because of how weird her pieces look. Like they're just gigantic optical illusions, and I love that. I love shapes and colors. Another negative space page. Mary DeLave. So out of this entire book, Mary DeLave is probably my second favorite, if not my absolute favorite artist that I did in this entire book. She is an artist who does kind of what I did for my theme. She does pieces that are based off of musical instruments. And so here you've got a hand, but there's a piano for like the bottom part and a guitar for one of the fingers, and you know, like they're just so interesting and fun to look at. And so I did base one of my pieces off of her works, and it was probably one of my best pieces. I'm just so incredibly obsessed with her work and just her style. So this is a rough draft for, let's fix my backdrop, rough draft for a finished piece that I did. It's kind of like, it kind of goes back to the point of view where it's like you've got a bird's eye view of the room and this person is kind of sitting alone in a corner. And so I really liked that. And then I've got another round of photograms. I did end up doing 2 photograms, but this one didn't come out like I wanted it to, so I didn't end up using this exact one. Here's some more newspaper stuff. So these are the pages that I did for my comparative study. So basically a comparative study is where you take 3 artists. So my 3 artists were Pablo Picasso, Mary DeLave, and Velverept. And you analyze these 3 pieces, and they have to do with your theme. So obviously I did Pablo Picasso's The Old Guitarist. I took one of Mary DeLave's paintings, Harmonic Prelude, and then I took Velverept's Cello, and then I just basically analyzed those pieces and explained how they gave me inspiration for my theme as a whole. So this is a spread that I did on a trip that I took for work to this vintage exhibit. It's basically, they had a setup for all of this really beautiful looking jewelry, turquoise and silver jewelry, and I absolutely love how all of this looks. I'm a big freak on you know, turquoise and silver and kind of jewelry, and I just thought that it looked so incredibly cool, so I thought I'd do a spread on it. And then that's a botched up drawing that I never finished. And then this is just like a little practice that I did. I found a video, no, not a video, a picture on Google, and it was of just like this really pretty girl, and she had like shaved her head, and it was really cute, so I was like, I'm gonna draw that. And then some more botched up drawing on the right. Oh, this is a blank page. I didn't realize this was here. Let's just ignore that. And then this is from another trip to the Mesa Art Museum, and this artist right here is named Karen Gilly, I think it's Gilly, and she's got some really interesting art too. You can see that there's like, it's got like kind of a purple hue on this page, and this chandelier hanging over the highway bridge, and kind of just like this really like construction setup. And then I guess I just never ended up finishing this spread, but she does have a lot of like really interesting charcoal pieces. Like these are all made of charcoal, and then there's some watercolor in the background, but they're really interesting. And then this is Bonnie Lambert. She's a really cool artist. I really like how all of like in her pieces everything looks really soft and kind of smooth, but still extremely realistic and so incredibly colorful. And she's just got a lot of really interesting pieces. I guess I never ended up finishing these either, but I did do a spread of Bonnie Lambert in a previous video, so I will link that in the icon up above, so you should go check this out. Wow, I guess I didn't end up finishing any of these, but this is from another exhibit by Brian David Griffith, and he did a lot of like 3D pieces having to do with like trees and wood and like conserving like the environment after forest fires. And then these were just some random pieces that I found throughout the exhibit. And then this is the very last page that I did in this art journal before I obviously finished school and had to turn in some pages. So as you can see, there are quite a few pages left over, but I will not be working in this journal any further. I am considering this journal to be done. I do have another journal, this one right here, that I'm going to start doing a whole crap ton of videos on because I wanted a new journal. This was like kind of my school journal, the one that I had used for my classes and stuff, but I wanted one that was just completely mine, you know, that I could do, you know, for fun and experiment and all that kind of stuff. So I have this new journal that I will be working in the future, and you will have many art journal videos to look forward to when I finally get around to filming some, because currently my desk is a mess of different materials that I can use for pages, but I need to get organized before I even think about filing through and trying to make any actual pages or spreads. So yeah, that's it. The entirety of my high school art journal for IB Studio Art. This journal was a journey. I learned a lot of things, and I failed a lot. Some of these pieces that I attempted to do based off of these spreads were massive failures, but others turned out really nice, and there's some pieces that I am extremely proud of, and there are some things that I never ended up doing, but I would absolutely love to do just for fun in the future. So yeah, I'm really proud of this journal. It really shows how much that I've grown, just kind of as a person and an artist. And I honestly can't wait to start doing more of these types of pages, because they're really fun to do. They really are. You know, you can be really creative with them, and you don't really have to worry about them looking, you know, absolutely perfect, or, you know, you can just throw stuff onto a page and then throw some text on it and you can call it a day, or you can spend half an hour, you know, researching and looking at different images and laying out your page, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, it's your journal and you can do whatever you want with it. So yeah, that's the end of this flip through. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like I said, I will be doing a lot more art journal videos in the coming future, so look forward to that. If you want me to make a video or two about some tips that I have for art journaling or making journal spreads or something like that, then leave a comment down below and let me know what you would like to see, because I'd be more than happy to share what I have learned throughout my time with the rest of you. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to my channel. I always appreciate new subscribers and new people to interact with. And that's about all I've got. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!